There is a story that begins not with a lightning bolt or a miracle, but with a simple question whispered in frustration. Why am I so unlucky? It is a question that many carry in their hearts, though few dare to ask it out loud. It does not thunder in the open air. It echoes quietly, painfully, in the silence of disappointment, in the gaps between dreams and reality, in the invisible space between effort and result. When we look at others and perceive their lives as smoother, more fortunate, more aligned with the things we desire, a shadow begins to grow within us. That shadow takes the shape of envy, doubt, and blame. We compare our missteps with their milestones, our losses with their gains, our silence with their applause. And somewhere in this comparison, we convince ourselves that luck is a treasure handed out unfairly, that some are born with blessings and others are destined to chase crumbs of joy. But what if this very thought is the first misstep? What if the question, why am I unlucky, is like looking at a locked door and never realizing we're holding the key? What if luck is not something we wait for, but something we shape through awareness, through practice, through the lens we choose to view life with? The man who believes he is unlucky often walks with his head lowered, eyes searching the ground for obstacles. The man who believes he is lucky walks with his eyes lifted, scanning the horizon for opportunities. Same path, same world, same moment, but two different lives. It is not that the fortunate have never known hardship. It is not that the so-called lucky ones have never tasted failure, disappointment, or heartbreak. The difference lies in their perception and their preparation. When the storm comes, one sees destruction and the other sees a chance to build stronger foundations. When the path splits, one sees confusion and the other sees choice. Luck is not a coin tossed by the heavens. It is the quiet result of daily actions, thoughts, habits, and awareness. It is forged in the invisible. It is sculpted in the silence when no one is watching. It is born when you choose persistence over excuses, clarity over chaos, discipline over distraction. Many people say, no matter how hard I try, things never work out for me. And yet, when observed closely, trying often lacks true depth. There is a difference between effort and aligned effort, between movement and progress, between noise and purpose. The bamboo tree takes years to break the soil. For months, even years, it seems nothing is happening, but beneath the surface, its roots are growing deep, anchoring strong foundations. Then, almost suddenly, it shoots up to great heights. Is it lucky? Or was it simply patient, persistent, and purposeful? We are often quick to judge the harvest, forgetting the seasons of silent growth. We label others as lucky without knowing their winters, their storms, their hours of practice in empty rooms. We compare our beginnings with someone else's peak and call it injustice. But this is not injustice. It is ignorance of the full journey. The one who meditates through pain, who trains when tired, who continues when results don't appear. This is the one whom others call lucky later. But luck did not arrive like magic. It arrived in small, invisible victories, in the choice to rise again when no one clapped, in the ability to see rejection not as a wall, but as a mirror showing what must be refined. The most dangerous story you can tell yourself is that you are cursed. Because once you believe this, you stop seeking your power. You surrender your ability to create. You fall asleep to the possibilities in front of you. And still, the truth is not always comfortable. Sometimes we are unlucky, but not because the universe is against us. We are unlucky because we have not yet learned how to align ourselves with what creates fortune. The mind that is scattered creates scattered outcomes. The emotions that control us lead us into repeating the same painful cycles. If a farmer plants seeds in rocky ground and gets no crops, is he unlucky? Or is he uninformed? Should he curse the sky? Or learn about soil? Should he wait for a better season? Or understand the rhythm of nature and change his timing? Blaming luck is easier than understanding alignment. True fortune is the result of internal clarity meeting external opportunity. But most people wait for the outside to change while never tending to the inside. They want wealth without discipline, love without vulnerability, growth without discomfort, success without sacrifice. And when these things don't arrive, they call it bad luck. But luck is not found in the lottery. It is found in preparation, in the unseen, uncelebrated labor of inner mastery. It is found in sharpening the mind so that even when the opportunity comes quietly, we are ready to receive it. There are those who walk into a room and see nothing but walls. And there are those who enter the same room and find a window. The room is the same. The view is determined by awareness. Ask yourself, Are you truly unlucky, or are you unprepared for the chances life gives you? Life is not unfair. Life is silent. It responds not to your feelings but to your readiness. And readiness is not created in one day. It is built layer by layer through conscious living. If your life is filled with misfortune, begin not by blaming the world. Begin by observing your thoughts. Are they strengthening you or weakening you? Begin by observing your actions. Are they moving you toward mastery or away from it? Begin by observing your habits. Are they seeds of luck or patterns of loss? This is not punishment. This is reflection. And in reflection there is power. There are no unlucky people. There are only people who have not yet learned how to live in alignment with the principles that govern success, peace, and meaning. And so, if you are someone who feels that nothing ever works out, I invite you not to fight this feeling, but to study it. Trace its roots. Where did it begin? Which belief did you accept without questioning? Who told you that your fate was fixed? You were not born with misfortune written on your skin. You inherited beliefs, adopted stories, lived among limitations. But none of these define what must come next. They are only chapters. And you are still holding the pen. Look around at those you call lucky. Instead of envy, choose curiosity. What do they do when no one watches? What patterns do they repeat? What principles do they live by? Luck follows clarity. Fortune follows preparation. Joy follows alignment. Not always instantly, but always eventually. What we see in the world is not merely what is in front of our eyes, but rather what we choose to focus on and how we interpret it. Every situation we encounter holds within it multiple layers of meaning and opportunity, but the lens through which we look will determine what we actually see. A person who believes they are unlucky will walk into a situation already defeated in their mind. They will look at challenges and see barriers. They will look at uncertainty and feel fear. They will look at other people's success and feel bitterness. Their entire perception becomes tinted with the belief that they are cursed or destined to suffer. This perception then influences their decisions, their energy, and even the way others respond to them. On the other hand, a person who believes that life is working in their favor approaches the same world very differently. They will meet challenges with curiosity, not complaint. They will view uncertainty as a space to grow, not a void to fear. They will look at others' success and feel inspiration, not resentment. This shift in perception doesn't necessarily change the circumstances, but it transforms the person's experience of those circumstances. It opens their mind to possibilities they would otherwise miss. A closed mind cannot recognize an open door. This is why perception becomes such a powerful force in shaping what we call luck. The same event, a job rejection, a failed relationship, a missed opportunity, can either be seen as a loss or a lesson. Those who grow from these moments often appear to be the lucky ones, but in truth, they are simply those who chose to interpret their pain as a message rather than a punishment. They listened to what life was trying to teach them instead of resenting the experience. This is the first and often most difficult step to changing your relationship with fortune, recognizing that how you see the world influences how the world shows up for you. Luck is often misunderstood as a spontaneous blessing or random favor from the universe. But more often than not, what we perceive as luck is the result of long periods of preparation, internal alignment, and conscious action. It is the product of choices made consistently over time, even when those choices seem to bear no immediate fruit. It's not about being in the right place at the right time. It's about being the right person no matter the place or the time. The internal environment we cultivate, the habits, the mindset, the discipline, creates the space for external opportunities to land and flourish. People admire the outcome but rarely understand the process behind it. The artist who sells their work for thousands may have spent years practicing in obscurity. The athlete who breaks records likely trained every morning when no one was watching. The entrepreneur who built a thriving business may have failed repeatedly before things finally aligned. From the outside, it may look like sudden success. It may look like they got lucky. But if we could rewind their journey and watch it unfold moment by moment, we would see thousands of small intentional decisions made without applause. We would see discipline winning over comfort, persistence prevailing over doubt. This is the work that builds real luck, not just chance but readiness. When the opportunity comes, it is not luck that allows you to seize it. It is preparation. Those who never prepare, even if luck stands in front of them, will fail to recognize or make use of it. Life does not stop to wait for your readiness. It offers chances based on the rhythm of the world, not your feelings. And so, if we want more fortune, we must stop waiting for something outside of us to change. We must start building the internal conditions that allow fortune to find a place to stay. Much of our unhappiness and sense of misfortune comes from comparing our lives to others. In doing so, we create a false narrative about what is fair or unfair, deserved or undeserved. We see someone's success and assume they were given more. We witness someone's joy and believe they were spared pain. But this is an illusion. Comparison is shallow because it rarely accounts for the full story. It measures only the visible, never the invisible. It sees the fruit and forgets the root. Everyone has their journey. Some are filled with visible struggle, others with hidden battles. Just because someone's pain isn't posted online doesn't mean they haven't suffered. And just because someone smiles doesn't mean their life has been easy. When we compare our behind the scenes reality to someone else's highlight reel, we inevitably feel cheated. We think they are lucky and we are not. But we are comparing the entire depth of our experiences with the surface of someone else's. That's not fairness, that's distortion. Instead of comparison, we need reflection. We need to look inward and ask why we feel less fortunate. What are we measuring ourselves against? And is that measure even valid? Often, the people we envy have made sacrifices we would never choose. They've trained longer, risked more, or endured more rejection than we imagine. Their so-called luck was earned through silent suffering and commitment. When we look only at outcomes, we rob ourselves of learning from the process. This is why comparison creates illusion. It tricks us into believing we are unlucky when we are simply at a different stage in our path. It replaces gratitude with jealousy, peace with restlessness. And no one builds fortune on such unstable ground. Only when we let go of the illusion of others having it easier can we focus fully on what we can become. Only then can we step into our own journey without the burden of needing to match someone else's story. Blaming external circumstances is one of the quickest ways to lose your inner power. When we say, I am unlucky because of this person, this system, this past event, we hand over control of our life to something outside ourselves. We become passengers in our own story, waiting for the world to give us what we feel we lack. But life owes us nothing. It is not cruel, but it is indifferent. It responds to energy, intention, and action, not emotion or entitlement. To reclaim your fortune, you must first reclaim your responsibility. This does not mean blaming yourself for every hardship. It means recognizing where your power lies. You may not have chosen your circumstances, but you can choose your response. You can choose what beliefs to hold, what actions to take, and what story to tell yourself. Every moment, you are writing your destiny with these choices. The more you look outward for someone or something to fix your life, the more you delay your own transformation. Responsibility is not a burden, it is a gateway. It invites you to see clearly what is within your control and begin working there. That is where real change happens. You stop waiting and start building. You stop complaining and start learning. You stop fearing and start acting. And with each step, you reclaim a little more of the ground you once thought was lost. Blame, on the other hand, creates paralysis. It gives temporary comfort by shifting the weight, but it offers no growth. You remain stuck recycling the same pain, waiting for someone else to make it better. This is not how fortune finds you. Fortune finds those who move, who learn, who adapt, who take ownership, not just of their success, but of their setbacks, their thoughts, their patterns. This is where luck begins to change. Within, emotion is powerful, but it is not always wise. Life does not bend to our moods. It flows in harmony with alignment. Alignment is when your thoughts, actions, and beliefs are moving in the same direction, guided by purpose, clarity, and values. When you are aligned, you may still face obstacles, but you face them with stability. You may still feel pain, but you do not act from it. You act from awareness. Too many people live in emotional reaction. They chase what feels good in the moment, avoid what feels difficult, and wonder why life feels unstable. But life rewards those who act from alignment, not impulse. When your actions are guided by purpose rather than emotion, your path becomes clearer. You begin to recognize what serves you and what sabotages you. You stop wasting energy on what doesn't matter. And slowly, almost imperceptibly, life begins to move with you. This is not magic. This is resonance. Just as a tuning fork vibrates only with certain frequencies, So too does life respond best to certain internal states. Peace, clarity, discipline, integrity. These are the frequencies of fortune. When you live in alignment with them, opportunities recognize you. They feel safe in your presence. They stay. But when you live in emotional chaos, inconsistency, or bitterness, fortune becomes a fleeting visitor. It knocks, but no one answers. To change your luck, change your alignment. Not overnight, but gradually, consistently. Pay attention to what you repeat. Are your thoughts strengthening or weakening you? Are your actions leading you toward growth or comfort? Are your choices shaped by fear or guided by purpose? These are the questions that shape your future. And the more you ask them, the more life begins to unfold, not in chaos, but in quiet harmony. Not in chance, but in chosen direction. The stories we tell ourselves shape the life we live every day. We narrate our lives, often unconsciously. We decide what events mean, who we are in relation to them, and what is possible for us. The problem is not the events themselves, but the story we attach to them. One person loses a job and tells themselves they are a failure. Another loses the same job and says, "This is the moment I begin again." The difference between luck and misfortune lies in the narrative. Our story becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. If we keep telling ourselves we are unlucky, unworthy, or doomed, our actions start to reflect that belief. But if we rewrite that story with honesty, courage, and vision, we give ourselves a new role, not as a victim of life, but as an active participant in its unfolding. We often believe our environment determines our outcomes. While it's true that surroundings have influence, they are not absolute rulers of our fate. Many have risen from poverty, chaos, and rejection to build meaningful lives. Not because the environment gave them power, but because they refused to let it take theirs. The external world reflects what we believe we deserve. If you carry the energy of limitation, even the best environment will feel confining. But if you carry expansion within you, even the most difficult environment can become a training ground. Change your inner world, and eventually the outer world follows. What surrounds you is not always your destiny. It is often your mirror, and mirrors can change when you do. We chase motivation as if it's the missing ingredient. We think, if I could just feel inspired, I would change my life. But inspiration without repetition is like lightning without fire. It's bright, but it doesn't last. True transformation comes from repetition, the unseen, uncelebrated, disciplined choices made again and again. The person who becomes fortunate is not the one who waits for ideal conditions, but the one who does the right thing even when nothing changes. Repetition builds resilience. It teaches the mind to stay focused and the body to stay disciplined. Over time, what once felt impossible becomes your new normal. And while the world may label it luck, it is simply the quiet reward of consistency. So in the end, maybe it was never about luck at all. Maybe it was about how we choose to meet life every day. With what thoughts, what energy, what responsibility. The world may not always be fair, but it always reflects something back to us. And if we look honestly, patiently, and with enough awareness, we stop asking, "Why am I so unlucky?" and begin asking, "What am I becoming through this?" Because once that shift happens, luck no longer seems like something others have. It starts to feel like something we are quietly growing inside ourselves.